Hello and welcome to our show, Film Talk with AJ Dean. I'm AJ Dean, your host, and look out, Las Vegas, one of my second home, my favorite place on the planet. We have some incredible special VIP guests. We have Mark Gendel, who's a musician, but so much more. We're going to talk about that. And Llynda Moore. She's also a singer and lyricist and musician. They're producers and musicians. They're a duo, a dynamic duo in the music scene. And we're going to check in with them real soon right now. Just wanted to give you a little bit of a bio on them, okay? So before we check in, I want to let you know that Llynda Moore is known as a singer, songwriter, producer, and former major label recording artist who grew up in Nashville, legendary music scene. She's the daughter of famed bassist Bob Moore, whose work included with Elvis, Johnny Cash, Roy Orbison. And Llynda gained recognition as a performer and won Miss Tennessee, then became top finalist in the Miss America pageant, and later signed with recording publishing deals CBS and Warner Brothers. She's also known for her songwriting, live performances in Las Vegas, and creative ventures in fashion. Her design boots, we're going to talk about that. And then Mark, I want to introduce you to Mark. He's amazing. He's a famous guitarist, songwriter, producer, recording engineer with deep roots in rock music. You're going to have so much fun getting to know both of them. He worked at Toronto's renowned Sounds Interchange Studios alongside the Rolling Stones. Can you get that? And I know I have a lot of Rolling Stone fans out there. He also worked along Black Sabbath and Rush and producer George Martin, famous George Martin. Oh my God, the Beatles. Okay. He later co-founded the rock band RPM in Nashville, signed to Capitol EMI, and built a long-running songwriting and production partnership with Llynda Moore, who we're going to talk about. There's some of my most favorite people. Mark is also recognized for his guitar work, music production, and live performances in Las Vegas. Hey, you two, how's it shaking? What's moving?
Well, after that incredible intro, we feel like $1 million.
Does it go up from here? I hope so.
Does. It really does. Well, I wanted to I used to do a lot of long intros like that and bios back when I first started, but I really wanted to give my respect to you both because you've really worked hard in the music industry and you've elevated it. You're top performers in Las Vegas, and it's always a treat. I've seen you perform, and I want everyone to see you in Las Vegas. I want them to go to your shows and buy your records and check out your beautiful music. And it's not just that you're wonderful single musicians, you're also a dynamic team that works so well together, your voices and your harmonies, and you just sync so well. So I want to celebrate you, and let's get into some questions. Sound good?
Wow.
Yes. Wow.
Indeed.
Okay. So I do want to start off and let you know that my favorite songs, Llynda, of yours are I Miss Tennessee. I recently shared that on my Facebook page and I love it. I want everybody to listen to it because it's moving and it's emotional and it's part of you. And I also love Live Every Day. That's another emotional one for me. And the power of you, the power of your suggestion. That's kind of a really cool techno kind of song. And then I also love your What Are You Doing New Year's Eve film noir. It's kind of a film noir, kind of reminds me of Humphrey Bogart and a tip of the hat to old Hollywood, which I love. You know that about me. And so let's get into it. I wanted to ask you, Llynda, if you could jump back into one moment from your music career or your studio sessions or something that's really stands out that's important to you, what one crazy night maybe, what moment would you relive and why would that be?
Well, there are really so many, but if I had to pick just one, I guess, I worked my whole life from a kid, the time I was like 5 years old, I started singing and trying to develop my voice and everything. And I entered the Miss America system because I needed a scholarship to go to college. And so when I was about 20 years old, I entered Miss Nashville and then I won shockingly. And then I moved on to Miss Tennessee. And the most coveted award there outside of the fact that everybody would hope to win the Miss Tennessee title would be the Talent Award. And so when my name was called as the talent winner for the pageant, that was probably, the feeling of all the hard work I'd put in to developing myself for so many years and competing with so many talented women. To be the winner of that was just like, wow. I mean, it's just something that just changed me immediately. You know, like, wow, I can really do this. They like me. They really like me. You know, who did
Yeah.
that?
Yeah,
Sally, what's her name?
that's correct.
You have talked, Sally, you know, the actress. Remember she got him accepted the award on the
Sally got
Sally
you.
Field. Sally
Sally.
Field.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was making a joke out of that. But yeah, you know, the feeling of being recognized and honored for something that you've worked so hard for. And then, of course, um, moving on to Miss America, when my name was called on national television to perform in front of millions of people on the show that night, that was just something that, you know, the shivers that take over your body are just something that live with you for the rest of your life. I mean, you know, I've met a lot of stars in my life because my father worked with so many of them. And that was all cool, you know, but when something happens to you that is just like that thrilling, it sticks with you. It's part of your DNA forever. So to be honest, those are like the most memorable moments for me. How about you?
Well, here I thought your most important moment was meeting me. I guess. Okay,
That was
we can move on. All right. Yeah. Is it my turn?
Yes, absolutely, Mark. Take it away.
Okay. No, there is a very particular moment for me that stands out. I had just released our first album with my band RPM. This is like mid 80s, like early 80s. And for some reason, we really hit in the Texas market, in the Houston market. And the station KLOL was like a huge rock market. And and they had us in heavy rotation. We went to #1 on their chart with our first track on that album. It's called Legend Never Dies. And when you have heavy rotation in a market like that, people know your stuff. So what they did, they asked us to headline their rock fest, which they used to do annually in the Houston Astrodome. Okay, so we get there and we're headlining this thing. There's like 20 bands on before us, and we're the last act of the night. There's like 30,000 people in this place. Okay. And so we started the show with that song, and I start the song. It's the riff, and I just have to tell you, I launch into this riff, and the place hit me with a roar that you could not be prepared for. And so many thoughts went through my head. I thought to myself, you know what? You've stepped up to the line, and you get to cross this line if you do your stuff right. It was just one of those moments. Yeah, that
Amazing. Amazing. So you were in the zone, Mark. Tell us about that. Tell the feeling. Was there a different frequency? Could you feel emotion in the air? Tell us what that's like on stage, because Llynda, you had that too when you
Yeah.
won. So tell us.
Well, I'll tell you the emotion that hits you. When you did that and you got that reaction, what went through, these people know the song that I wrote, you know, and they recognized my guitar part. And it was like, holy God, what a sense of, is power the right word? Or,
Yes,
or vindication? I mean, or what? Well, I don't know what you would call it. It was just,
It's such a reward for all the hard work.
there you
You
go.
know, hard work you put in
Yeah,
for
it was
years.
just, yeah, it was, I didn't expect that kind of reaction.
I would say a sense of awe because you're in a moment that you haven't experienced before and you're connecting with all these people. You're in front of them. You're kind of an influencer. You're a representative of the music scene and music in general. And when you connect with that, it's kind of a euphoric feeling.
It's
It must be, right?
otherworldly. Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's That's
Yes.
fascinating. Well, congratulations on that. You know, I don't, not everybody has that. Maybe they have it on a smaller scale when some performers perform with a crowd of maybe, I don't know, 50 to 100, right? But when you're filling a stadium and you said what, 20,000?
It was somewhere between 20 and 30. The Astrodome holds a lot of people. So I'm going to say that it was packed. They kind of sectioned it off or whatever, but there was a lot of people. And it was a roar that, wow.
And you know, that's every musician's dream, right? especially people that are in the rock genre, to play in a big venue like that with a huge amount of people digging their songs, and screaming because of the songs. So it was like a dream come true.
Very much, very much.
Too bad it didn't continue, right?
Yeah, well, that's another story. Yeah.
Well, I think I want to say it's wonderful that you've achieved those heights because, as I mentioned, not everybody does achieve those heights. So at least you've had that taste of it, and you can always return. It's really a matter of trend setting and what's the flavor of the month, what's the latest, what's the new thing. That's pretty much it. That's what I see, on the cycle. Like the Rolling Stones, we mentioned them a moment ago, they're always reinventing themselves, right? They're always doing something different. And I have so many fans of them. So yeah, it's just about, and that's what you're doing. You're both doing that when you get up and you do your riffs that are different and you go in a different, I want to ask you just real quick though, have you ever like stopped in the middle of the riffs and done like the Munsters or some kind of fun, catchy tune at all? Mark, tell us about that.
We did that in our Halloween show, didn't we? We did the Addams Family or something.
Yeah,
it was hilarious.
Not in the middle of a guitar riff, but
no, well, almost. But yeah, we turned it into a guitar riff. Is that it? Yeah. Yes. So we have.
That's great. That's great.
There, like 5-6 years ago, where we actually put together a couple of shows, and a Halloween show was one of them. And I recall when you said the Munsters, it was actually the Addams Family.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's so great. We love the Addams Family too. We all love those fun classic, TV personalities and
with your long black hair, you look like you could have been a character.
Yes, well, yeah, how about that?
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's such a high compliment to me. I would love to have been part of that. Even worked behind the scenes on the production set. I just finished, in fact, co-producing a film back east for the past 3 weeks, and it was incredible and wonderful. But yes, I would have loved to have been on set behind the scenes doing anything, production assistant or whatever. You know what I mean, Llynda?
No, you could have been the female lead is what we're thinking here.
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, thank you so much. Cheers to you on saying that. Thank you, Mark. You've both worked around legendary artists, which we mentioned before. So I wanted to ask you, what's something people would be surprised to learn about in the golden era of the music business? Because you were exposed to so many incredible icons, and I know that that's influenced your life. Not everybody gets that chance.
I was quite young, but I did meet Elvis Presley. And I went to a recording session with my father when he was playing bass on his records, right? And even though I was young, I still have a very vivid memory of meeting Elvis. And the thing that was so shocking to me, I mean, here is this huge star. And he was, number one, he was so kind and so sweet, but everybody knows that about Elvis. But the thing that shocked me the most was how nervous he was, which shocked me because by that time he was a huge star, and I would have thought that his confidence would be huge, but he just seemed very nervous and a little unsure of himself. And I guess that came from his humility. I don't know. He was such a good person, but I had prepared a little piece of paper as a little child, writing Elvis Presley's autograph in little child's writing, right? And I had it all prepared for him to sign right below that. And, he put me on his lap and he took the piece of paper and he started trying to sign it, but his hands were shaking and he was so nervous. He says, "Oh, I've screwed this up. I'm so sorry. Can I turn it over?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, okay," and he turned it over and signed it. But I don't know, it just stuck with me that he was so nervous, and I'm not sure about what, maybe by that time he'd gotten onto some kind of prescription drugs. I don't know, but he was so sweet and so kind. But I think everybody knows that. But surprisingly, he was so nervous.
AJ, I think it's a condition of people getting around Llynda.
All right.
I think it's more of that.
As a baby.
Even
it's quite possible, having your father be, such an important bassist and musician. And we were just talking about behind the scenes. It's really the people. I mean, we love the stars. Don't get me wrong, we do, right? We love the stars, but it's also the behind the scenes musicians and tech people and bassists like your father. You know what I mean? He was right there. He may not have been the front lead, as the main artist, but such an integral part of the band. And so, so maybe it could have been that. But yeah, what do you think, Mark?
Well, speaking of her dad, I mean, if you look at his discography, it's remarkable, and I don't think it could ever be repeated in history again. But he was really credited duly for really bringing the bass into the recording industry. I mean, he was at a certain point in time that really defined what a bass could do for records, and he had a big part of that. So I have to say that about her dad.
Well, my father and a group of about 5 or 6, 7 other musicians, basically they made Nashville, Tennessee what it is today, Music City, USA. Just this group of guys, and they were all really great musicians, and they were called the A Team, and they were the group of people that played on most every record made, in the 60s, when the whole industry was just kind of really starting to take off in Nashville, and they created what's called the Nashville sound, and and they made it what it is today. Really, gradually developed into something pretty cool, and now Nashville's the it town now.
Amazing. So, Llynda, you're really part of history with your family and your family's legacy, shaping that. And again, these are, so many people do know of your father, Bob Moore. And did he ever make his own record by his own? Yeah.
He
Tell us.
did. He actually did. He had a couple of, well, he called it Bob Moore and his orchestra. So, he created a big band sound. And he actually had a hit. I can't believe this, but it was like a hit on the Billboard charts. I think it went to number 7 or something like that, called Mexico.
Well, you'd know the song. Give her the hook.
Da, da. I don't know if she'd know it, but it was more like trumpets. It was a Mexican thing. Da 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 da. Dun 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 dun. I don't know if that rings a bell at all, but
she's probably too young.
It was a hit. I mean, I don't know how that would happen, but back in those days it could. But yeah, he did do a couple of albums on his own, and it was instrumental stuff. He was not a singer.
Yeah, you've leveled up on the singing on that, so that's a wonderful thing. You've broken through that, so
Yeah.
I love that. But go ahead, Mark.
I remember your question. It was like, what surprises you maybe about some of the bigger stars, and I found when I was working with them, very much the same story with Llynda. The humility around the biggest of artists was absolutely unbelievable to me. They are very unassuming, and I worked with all kinds of acts who weren't big, and they would come in there and some of the smaller acts. Oh, I know you love my record, and I know you love this. And there's a particular female artist who actually ended up having a big hit, who thought she was going to make the next Thriller, and it just seemed like the wannabes had a bit more of a self-serving attitude than some of the big artists. I mean, again, with the Rolling Stones, I could tell you a story about those guys.
Can you tell us who that was? The female artist?
Do you want me to tell you who it was?
I'd like to know.
Oh gosh, it was Alana Miles, the Black Velvet girl, and she had recorded her album. She did have like a massive hit, but she thought the album was going to be like the biggest thing to ever hit in the world. And
well, it did pretty well.
And it did pretty well, but and she wasn't a big artist at the time. It was right before she really hit. But a different attitude from that's very nice.
Well, you're being honest.
Well, I'm being honest.
And we're all about honesty and truth here. I'd rather have the truth and tell me how it is, and I can, you know what I mean?
I even find here in Vegas, some of the nicest people are the most successful ones, and some of the people that are insecure or not. And I guess that's why.
Yes,
I feel like,
absolutely.
you know, it's human nature, I guess.
It really is. Yes, you're right, Linda. And I want to ask you, how did you two meet? Now, this is kind of a side note. I didn't really um, send you these notes on this question, but how did you two meet? Because you're such a great team together. And how did it come about? Did your dad introduce you? How did it happen?
You want me to start?
You could start.
And you can end it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I get it.
You don't,
Go ahead.
please don't. That story's
No,
getting
no,
old.
I'm telling the truth. Go ahead.
So we were both on, you know, on record company labels. I was on CBS Records in a girls act called Calamity Jane. And we were kind of like do you remember Juice Newton at all? Does that name ring a bell? Anyway, it was like country pop, female country pop, and four girls. And so we were rehearsing for a tour. We were going to go open for Hank Williams or something. I can't remember. We opened for a lot of people. And we were rehearsing in a big rehearsal facility in Nashville called SIR. And we were just rehearsing there. And it just so happened that same day, his band, RPM, which was on a major label,
We were on Warner's at the time.
yeah, and they came down. I don't know what were you going to rehearse there?
We were rehearsing for a showcase, actually.
Yeah. They have like several, you know, there's like maybe 8 rehearsal rooms in this big facility. So,
And we had the big one.
so of course, you were a
Of course.
major rock star.
Yeah, of course.
No, I went out to the lobby to make a phone call to our attorney because he was working on some things on our record contract or something. And that's it. I was out in the lobby talking to an attorney. And it's kind of a, you know, serious discussion. And I was just kind of leaning over on the, I don't know, it was some kind of like a table or something or some kind of bar. And I was leaning over like this, you know, with one arm on the phone, you know, and writing things down or whatever. And so then he comes down the hall.
Well, okay, so I'm in the rehearsal room and our drummer comes running in and he goes, Llynda Moore's out in the lobby. Llynda Moore. And I'm going, well, who's Llynda Moore? Oh, she's Miss Nashville, Miss Tennessee, Bob Moore's daughter. And I said, I'll be right back. So I go out to the lobby and sure enough, there was Llynda Moore. And she kind of, Llynda doesn't like when I say this, but she kind of had her back to me. But she was positioned in such a way where I was noticing there were very nice attributes going on there. So I thought, you know, at this point in the game, I'm going to become a producer. Okay, so I entered, well, what are you doing, young lady? And what are you up to? And so I wrote down my number and said, hey, maybe we should work together and see what you got. And I left my number.
I love
So
it.
at the time I was, I had a boyfriend, another boyfriend. And so you know, I took his phone number and just kind of threw it in the car seat, you know, because I wasn't going to call him because I thought he had other things in mind besides producing me. So I wasn't going to call. But anyway, I just kind of forgot about it because I was serious with somebody else. And a couple months later, me and my boyfriend broke up and I was cleaning my car one day and I found this little note had fallen down between the seats. And I'm like, I remember this guy. He was a nice guy. I'll call him up. So I did.
Oh, I love that. That's so beautiful.
And we
started writing that night.
Yeah, we started writing songs together, and that's how it started out.
Well, that's so sweet. And you know, I understand, Mark, you heard that and thought, I'm gonna go see who this beautiful lady is. And then you see Llynda in her vision of loveliness, and that's it. That's how you know, falling in love and all of that happens, doesn't it? I mean, it's those types of moments where, you know, you were there in the right time, at the right place, and you connected. And I'm sorry that it didn't work out for your boyfriend, Llynda, but look how it's supposed to worked out. Do you see what I'm saying? It all worked out.
And you know, the thing that was so attractive about Mark to me, I grew up in Nashville. All the guys there, you know, super sweet guys, but they all had a Southern thing about them, you know. And here's this guy from Canada, and he had a different accent and a little bit different vibe. And I thought, you know, this is kind of cool. I like this guy. And the other thing that really drew us together, we both had a really strong interest in learning about health and taking care of the body. And, you know, he and his brother were reading a book called Life Extension, and I was reading some books on fasting, and just we had a lot of passion, and we found that in common, and that's really helped keep us together for many years. I mean, it's probably the most
Amazing.
life.
Amazing. Congratulations. And how many years have you been together? I just want to celebrate you too, because you know me, I love love and I love, partnerships and celebrating. So tell how many years has it been?
Oh dear. Oh dear.
40.
Oh,
Is it 40? We don't even know.
oh, it's,
We don't pay
yeah.
attention to years. We just
Okay.
get up every day like a couple of kids and just like,
From what I understand,
okay.
from what I understand, there were dinosaurs still walking the earth, so that that might be helpful.
That's great. Well, as many years that you've had, I celebrate, and we also celebrate the many more blessings of years that you have together. Apologies. What's the most this could only happen in Nashville story either of you have experienced?
Go ahead.
Okay, so like I have a memory of when I was on CBS Records. My co-partners and I went for lunch one day, and we're just sitting in this little pub or something, and in walks, I think it was like Dolly and Reba, and who else was it? Somebody else. I don't remember, but they were like, and they sat down right next to us. It's like that. That could only happen in Nashville for sure. Oh, it was Barbara Mandrell, I think.
Wow. I used to
Heather.
watch the Barbara Mandrell show. Yes, I remember.
Yeah, remember that show? Wow.
She was a real talent for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and Nashville back then was more of a boutique town, more charming. Now it's like super international and the traffic is just like LA but back then it was just, I don't know. It was so great growing up in Nashville. So great. And, everybody knew everybody, and I don't know. I really miss it. All my friends that still live there, they're all so sad that Nashville's become what it has. But of course, Nashville is making a lot of money, on all the things that it's doing to draw tourists, and it's working well. And the style that they've given country music has really attracted a younger audience, and obviously that's what they wanted, for sales and all that, and it's worked. But it's changed Nashville. It's not quite the charming, smaller town that it used to be.
I'm glad that you experienced, before Mark answers, I just want to say I'm really glad you had that experience, Llynda, with, Nashville. And it's kind of similar to how I've heard the Judds have talked about, going back to Kentucky and having fond memories of that. So yeah, I love that you had those moments in your life, that foundation, and you knew it when it was, a smaller town.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. She just reminded me of another moment.
The
The Judds. I'll go into that. But what I was going to answer on this is like my answer to that is very much along Llynda's line. When I got there in the 80s, it was a small, charming town, and you'd run into all kinds of people. And the thing that sticks out with me is what I did when I got there. There was an area in Nashville called Music Row. It was really like two streets, and house after house after house, these remodeled homes were publishing companies and little recording studios. And you could only do that in Nashville. And so like I walked into all of these places introducing myself and sort of telling them what I wanted to do. And I actually met the guys in RPM by going into a demo session at the ATV publishing location. So you could only do that in Nashville. There was also a little area called Berry Hill where I did a bunch of recording, and there were like 3 world-class studios like in this unassuming little neighborhood. I mean, that was very, very, that could only happen in Nashville. But when you mentioned the Judds, okay, on our first record, we worked with a producer called Brent Mayer, and we're doing a session with the band. And one day he comes, he says, guys, I got to take a break here, but I want to introduce you to a couple of gals. I found these girls in Kentucky, and I just want to bring them in for a minute. He brings them in. We have no idea who they are. And he says, would you sing something for the guys? And they started singing. We went, well, Brent, they're really great. How about that? That could only happen in Nashville. I didn't even think of that as an answer, but that's the truth. They
That's
were nobody. They were nobody.
wow. So you saw them. That's so incredible. Those are the kind of gems and memories that, my gosh. So before they did all the tours and everything like that, you heard them sing, Mark.
And Brent was working with us. He got us the studio time, and he was engineering for us. And Brent actually he was responsible for breaking them. I mean, he was the one, and he produced, I think, of their first couple of albums at least.
Wow.
And he was the guy, and we got to meet them when he had just met them himself. It was
I-
incredible.
Incredible.
I'd like to add this, growing up there, when I sometimes go with my father to recording studios and stuff, and Mark's right, Music Row was the coolest place. It was houses, like old Southern houses, lining the street, and publishing companies and songwriters and everybody had taken over all this, but they kept it real homey, right? So they all had like a sidewalk from the street, walking up, and beautiful grass and shrubs and flowers. And you walk up to these stairs and to a house. It's like a house, like your grandma's house, right? And there'd be a glass door, and they would always have like a receptionist in the front. And then in other rooms where there'd be people songwriting or whatever, recording, and and so I know for a fact that Faith Hill used to be one of the receptionists. She got a job as a receptionist in one of these publishing companies. And, they would sit there and people would just, back then Nashville wasn't so in demand and people were not flocking there from all over the world. But serious musicians that love country music would come there, but it wasn't so crowded. And so people felt safe. It was also a much safer world, and people felt safe allowing people just, with their guitars from Podunk, Iowa, to walk down the street, walk up the sidewalk and knock on the door or come in the front door of these old homes and introduce themselves. And that's what happened with Mark. But it was such a great time in history. And I feel so blessed to have grown up then around that.
Yes, it's so amazing. And thank you for sharing that, Mark and Llynda, about how, Nashville used to be. And fascinating that Faith Hill was a receptionist. I think maybe was Naomi Judd too. I think I read her book. I think it was something like that. So that was a good viable method and path, wasn't it, back then, to become a receptionist or work for the office of the recording studios. And what a nice homey feel. I can imagine it, and I'm visualizing it in my mind, a row of really cute Southern homes, maybe A-frame homes and really just with porches and things like that. Is that how it was?
They were like old Southern, homes. I mean,
Antebellums kind of thing, or
not
like
quite. They weren't massive. They
Tudery.
were small,
Yeah, yeah,
but cozy,
yeah.
cottagey, cool. Yeah.
It had a vibe.
I love that. I love that you both experienced that. So what is it now? What is it now? More corporate? Is it unreachable? Are there layers now? Tell us about what it is for young.
I mean, the industry's changed so much, and sadly, a lot of the revenue for artists no longer comes from record sales because it's all about streaming and it's all about their live revenues. So, we've been to Nashville in the last year and a couple of years. We've gone a couple times, and you go to Music Row now, and it's condominiums. I mean, it's all been lost. And you go down to Broadway now, and it is an absolute circus. I mean, there are what 40 to 60 bands along Broadway in the front windows. It's just a madhouse. It's like bachelorette parties, and it's like a nonstop 24-hour party of insanity. And I guess this is how things evolve. But that charm, it's not a small town anymore. I can tell you that. It's grown so much, and there's a lot of people all over the place. Back what we're talking about, you'd walk into the Pancake Pantry and meet who knows who. You know, it was everybody was accessible. And so, you know, it's different.
It's different now. It's changed. So, I guess for the young people, the next generation, they have to do different and unique, creative. They have to be really resourceful and creative in their pitching and in their, wanting to get their music out there. It must have radically changed.
Well, you know what? It's like you can't even pitch anymore. What the labels come back with is if we're interested in you, we'll hear about you. So they really don't even take any solicitations at all anymore.
Yeah, it's really up to artists to uh, put all the time, effort, and energy into getting themselves out there. And because of the internet, and because people can become independent artists and perform on YouTube and all that stuff, obviously it's easier for people to do that than they could back then. But you don't really have the support of record labels. And if you get some action going on your own, record labels may come around. But you really have to get out there and do it all on your own pretty much these days.
Okay, so you have to be your own machine, your own company. You've got to be a self-starter, motivated, and create and do your own thing.
And you know, like back then, you didn't have YouTube. It's a double-edged sword kind of thing where it is harder in one respect, but on the other hand, you can put yourself on YouTube, and if you got what it takes, you've got a worldwide audience just like that. So the tools are much different now than,
Yeah.
40, 60 years ago.
It's
With AI, that's completely changed everything. So, that's a whole other discussion. I don't know if you want to get into that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we could talk about that. Over to you guys. How do you feel about it?
Well, I'm going to be honest. Okay, I do see the positive side. Like you said, it's a tool that can help you get things done quicker. But it really bothers me because I've spent my entire life learning how to develop my songwriting craft. And all my songs have been written from real life human experiences that I have personally gone through, struggled through, learned lessons from. And, sometimes we meet somebody at a party and they'll go, "Oh, I wrote 20 songs last week." And they've never written songs before. And that's not true. They have not written the songs. The computer wrote the song. But these people are convincing themselves that they are writers and that they have actually created something. And yeah, you may have an idea and you may tell the computer, "Oh, I would like to write a song about this subject or that." But the blood, sweat, and tears that a human being experiences through writing something that is heartfelt, sincere, and that teaches life's lessons is missing for me. And, yeah, computers do go and they grab from other songs and stuff like that. But it just bothers me that people, I just think it's really uh, going to become, I think there's going to be so many people considering themselves writers and artists, and they're making videos with fake images of themselves. I see some people posting videos that like, that's not them, and they know it's not them, and nobody, and they look so fake. They're so perfect, and they're just, I don't know, it's robotic, and I don't like that. I like human stuff.
Me
Um,
too. I mean, I love the flaws that make us who we are.
yes, yeah. I mean, some of the AI vocals that are being generated are so perfect. I mean, the vibrato, I've never heard a vibrato on a human sounds so perfect and even and, powerful. And it just sounds fake. Okay, sorry. That's how I feel.
Hmm?
Go ahead, your turn.
My turn? Oh, okay. Well, I think AI I see AI as a tool, and my fear is that people growing up with AI will see it as the end all and be all. See, to me, I would have to come up with it. And if AI could add a little something, or I could use it in a technical way where I could separate out tracks and mix it, but it would still have to be something that I came up with. What I see happening is very much like Llynda described. And as it goes on, people won't come up with those ideas. They'll let AI do the whole thing. And I don't know if that's good or not. I think if you have something that you hear and you love it, I suppose in a certain respect, it doesn't matter how you got there, but we'll see. We'll see. AI is really something else. I mean, just from the fact that this Chat GPT, I mean, you can talk to this thing, and it talks to you like another person. I'm blown away. And a year and a half, we wouldn't even be talking about this. A year and a half ago, this wasn't even a reality.
You know what I think a good analogy is, based on what you just said?
Okay.
It's like if you prepare a salad out of vegetables from your garden that you planted the seeds, you worked the soil, they grew, you watched them grow in the sun and nature. You went out and picked them when they were ripe and you prepared them. And there's an energy in that, you know what I mean? And you eat that salad and you're consuming more than just, oh, this salad tastes great. There's heart and soul in that salad, you know what I mean? It's the same for me with songs. I mean, you're right. Maybe, like you said, it doesn't matter how you came up with it. If people like it, they like it. But there's something missing, and whether or not they will know that, I don't know. I don't know whether human beings will eventually not even know that or even care. Maybe they won't. But for me now, at this point in my life and in 2026, to me, that's important.
Yes, definitely, 100%. And I will always vote for the human element, won't you? Do you know what I mean? I mean, technology is fascinating and wonderful. It has its place, because we all have an iPhone or a phone that we have, which is basically a mini computer, isn't it? The phones, and they're getting. Go ahead.
Sorry, AJ, I interrupted. Go, I'm finished. No,
No,
I was going to say our perspective on the human element will be different because of our orientation to that. I don't, here, I was just saying, if you're 5 years old right now, you won't know a world without um, artificial intelligence. So your perspective on human and what's human is going to be a completely different thing than what we understand. It's an evolving situation. So
I'm really thankful and grateful I was born in 1967.
and we feel the same way. I mean, there's a liability comes with old age, I suppose, but I wouldn't trade it now. I really like what I grew up with. I really do.
I mean, when you think about it, the thought never crossed our minds when we went to school, elementary school, junior high, high school, that somebody might come in and shoot us. I mean, what a beautiful thing to never even have that thought. You went to school every day, you felt safe, you loved your friends, you were excited about learning. There was no fear and no anger. It's just, I feel so sorry for kids these days to have to deal with that.
I do too. I really feel for them, and I hope that they can navigate, the best they can through all the information and all the change and everything. I did want to switch up and ask you, talking about, frequencies and energies, good energies that you both have. Between the two of you, who's the one who stays calm during the chaos in the studio or out in the world, and who's more likely to say, okay, we're redoing the whole thing over. Let's start again.
You start.
Well, I keep things calm. I keep things.
Yeah.
He has a tendency to, to freak out about things that, and usually I just say, it's all good. Everything's cool. And he'll take a deep breath and it's all good.
I'm the animated one. If something's off, I'm excuse me till I work this out. It's I like to handle a lot of the tech. I handle the technical stuff as well, right? So yeah, and yeah, I tend to err on the side of
excitement,
animation, whatever.
That sounds good.
We're both perfectionists. I mean, it's really to a fault, and it's really almost not good how perfect we are. I mean, it's even hard for, I'm going to be honest, performing live is very difficult for me because I'm such for you too, we're such a perfectionist, and now everybody's got their cameras out, and I cringe if my performance is not 1000% perfect. And, if you're an artist that really wants to improve your art as you go on through life, you're always going to be able to find things that you can improve, you know, and it drives me insane to say, you know, I could have done this, I should have done that. But that's what the learning experience is, you know, but painful. I'm going to be honest, it's very painful for me.
Yeah, I feel the same way. You know, the cameras are all over the place, and I've watched on Facebook, and you'll see, you know, great artists like Rod Stewart and blah blah, and I watch it, and I go, I bet Rod wished that wasn't taped, you know, and it'll seem like they'll always get your moment where you, oh, why did, and the part that was great, they stopped the tape. That happens to me all the time, and so I don't know how to deal with some of that stuff. I really don't.
I think that you're both great, and like I said, you know, I think people appreciate authenticity, and those moments show character and authenticity, and that you're real. And but I do hear what you're saying, Llynda, about the struggle of being an artist and the high expectations that we have, not only for ourselves but for other people, and also how it looks visually, how it sounds, all on all different levels. So yes, what's being a true artist, isn't it? What it's all about.
It is. And, you know, unfortunately, people, you know, there's certain people that are very supportive of other people. But, you know, there's a lot of people that they can't wait to see you fail. It's sad, but it's true. They can't wait to see you make a mistake. And see, I told you, I mean, people do that with Taylor Swift, right? I mean, the girl has worked her ass completely off her whole life. She's a really good songwriter. You know, she deserves her success. But you know, there were a couple of videos when she first came out. People were like, "See, she can't sing." See, you know, and they would find moments of her in the show where she wasn't perfect or whatever. And so people love to exploit that, you know, and that's sad.
That is so true, and that's why for all of us as artists, I think it's so important to have that grounded centeredness of who we are, and that we do our craft for us, number one. And then if anybody else likes it, yay, you know what I mean? But but the number one thing is that we are authentic to our mission and our, you know, of what we want to project out into the world. And I think your songwriting and your creativity, I think that comes through from both of you. And by the way, you're also on Apple's. Everybody can listen to your music on Apple, Spotify, Bandcamp. You're also on Facebook and Instagram. And your website is www. Dot more MOREGENDEL.com. Is that right?
That is right.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I want everyone to go and check you out and see your wonderful photos on there and your music and get to know you. And speaking of getting to know you, I have a couple photos on our second screen here. And Llynda, you not only sing and do wonderful performances, both of you, but Llynda, you also do a Marilyn Monroe performance act. And let's talk about that. How have you been doing? Where can they see you? What's been going on? Looks like the Rat Pack is behind you there in the on the bar. Tell us about it.
So yeah, I this is something that I never planned or tried to do. It just happened, and I just like did it for fun one time because somebody said, you know, you should do a Maryland thing sometime. So just for fun, I went onto Amazon and bought a cheap, you know, blonde wig, and, and I tried to dress like her. And he, everywhere we go, people say they think he's Ozzy Osbourne. Okay,
Yes.
so he was saying, you know, I'm going to get dressed up like Ozzy one night with the black fingernails, and so just for fun, we went out in Vegas to this. What was it? What was the hotel?
I can't remember, but it
Boutique
was a
hotel.
little boutique
Yeah,
hotel. It was very gothic
yeah,
too.
very gothic hotel. And he had his Ozzy outfit, and I did my Maryland thing, and we just went there. And we have a friend who's a photographer, and he came and he took pictures of us, and we just had fun with it. It was no, you know, no big deal. It was just a fun thing to do at night. And so some of the pictures turned out pretty cool, and we posted them on Facebook, just like, you know, we had fun last night, and we got the greatest reaction. And and that's how it all started. And then an agent in town saw me. I don't remember. He saw a picture or something. He invited me, or he hired me to do Maryland for some party or something. And it just has kind of snowballed that way. And I just do it for fun. I get paid well. And the Rat Pack you know, there's a Rat Pack show in Vegas, and and sometimes they group up with Maryland, and the agent puts us together, and we do, you know, I do a show with them. It's really their show, but they have me as their special guest. So I
I
just go
love
and,
that. I love that so much.
as a matter of fact, this week I'm going to be on the Dennis Bono show doing Maryland, uh, just for fun. And that same night, I'm rushing off from the Dennis Bono show to go perform as Marilyn with the Rat Pack at another place here in Vegas. And so, you know, I do that occasionally. And
That's so much fun. I love that. Isn't that fun to do? And you're so good. You look like her so much. I love your mannerisms. And of course, you have a beautiful, beautiful physique like she did. And you present her so well, Llynda. And I haven't been able to see, I've seen you perform. Remember, it was at Chianti, I think, that we saw you perform. That's where that photo and you and I I had my photo taken with you. It was so much fun. And I think there was the Neil Diamond impersonator, Rob, I think was there. Anyway, that was so
and
great.
I probably would plug in for that too.
Go ahead.
I also work with Rob, and I'm performing this Saturday night in his show at Santa Fe Station here in Vegas. So I'll be singing background vocals with another beautiful background vocalist, Annie Lyon. And then I will be doing the duet with Rob, the You Don't Bring Me Flowers duet with Rob. So everybody, you know, if you're not doing anything on Thursday afternoon at 2 p.m., come to Dennis Bono and see me rock out as Marilyn Monroe. And then Saturday night with Rob Garrett, Neil Diamond, the King of Diamonds. He's excellent.
He's amazing. He is amazing. I haven't had him on my show yet. I tried to coordinate sometime at one point, but it didn't work out. But I should try again and reach out to him because he's so fabulous. Yes, so we love Dennis Bono. We love him. He has for everybody who doesn't know, I'm sure they do, because if you're in Vegas, you know, you know. But if you're in Los Angeles or other cities, Dennis Bono has a performance venue, doesn't he, Llynda, that he invites performers and singers and acts on, and you can go there and watch them, and it's super fun.
Yeah, I mean he's at the South Point Casino in the big showroom, and he has a show there most every Thursday, and packs the place in 300 or 400 people, and it's such a great show because he has at least 6 to 8 of Vegas's local performers and sometimes international performers. Just a really fun show, kind of like a talk show, variety show, and he's a great host. He's funny and he's a great singer himself. So yeah, come check that out.
Come check that out, definitely, and put that on your to-do list. And then, Mark, how about you? Are you performing any gigs that you want to promote? Talk about it.
Sure, I'm actually going to be doing backstage production for the Santa Fe show. Then I'm playing with Rob. I've got 4 dates on the calendar in July. I play guitar with his tribute quite often when he needs me, and we've got shows coming up in Utah with him. I see something on the calendar for Atlantic City. I also play with the husband and wife team by the name of Tammy Graham. It's the Tammy Graham Band and her husband Kent. They're really good. So I got something with them coming up. Yeah, stuff to keep us in trouble.
We're also doing I'm opening a show singing America the Beautiful, for opening a show, doing that for a Tim McGraw tribute act in July.
Yeah, we're doing a show in Hesperia, and I'm going to be doing sound and production for that. Linda's going to sing.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That is so great. Okay, well, we'll have to please everybody check out those dates on your website.
Yes.
Okay. So go to their website and check them out and put that on your to-do list. And also, Mark, there's a photo here of you on stage playing guitar. What was that a special moment for you?
Which one might
I think it's with Rob.
Let me see.
Yeah. I think it's with Rob.
I think they're, oh yeah. It was a particularly fun evening that I remember. And it's one of the first times I played with that particular guitar, and it's a guitar that I've designed. And so, yeah, it is always fun over there. And that was a particularly...
About your guitars.
Well, yeah, I'm actually in the process of building another prototype. It's a slow, arduous process, but I do have a guitar with a number of features that I think will fill a void in the marketplace. So I'm always very excited about that. It's been a long time, but I've got some time right now to take it to the next level. So I'm also working on that.
I'm
Gendel,
super. Go ahead.
Gendel guitars. There you go.
Yes. I mean, you're famous for that, you know, and so who hasn't bought a Gendel guitar? Come on.
Most of the planet.
Mark, after working with rock legends like Rolling Stones, Black Sabbath, what did you learn about their creativity up close?
Creativity up close. Well, they again, I'm going to go back to this theme where they don't take themselves all that seriously. They just let things rip, and they keep it fun. They keep it fun, and a lot more fun than I would have ever thought. I guess there are certain artists who didn't have quite as much fun. I remember some pretty serious sessions, but the Rolling Stones in particular and Black Sabbath, uh, there was a moment when they were playing tapes back from there. They did about an 8-night stint at the El Macombo, which is a famous club in Toronto, and it was for a live album. And so Eddie Kramer's in the control room. He was the engineer, and he's Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stone. I mean, wow, these are powerhouse people. But I remember they were playing the tape back, and Ronnie Wood had made some kind of clamor mistake on the guitar, and they all just broke out laughing. It's like, you could take this one of two ways. Ronnie, what did you do that for? Or you could go the other way and who cares, And it was who cares, they just made a big joke out of it. And I took a lot from that because from then on, when I was in recording sessions and things that got too crazy, I just started using humor as an escape, and it's a great way to.
So from now on, when you can't log in for the 50th time on a website,
I better start laughing.
laughing.
Yeah, right. Right.
I
But
love
that was
that.
a takeaway for me. It really was. It was an incredible moment.
I love that so much. And yes, humor through it all, through life and its challenges and disappointments that we've had. And what's the secret to staying creative and not getting stuck in nostalgia or getting stuck in a mode? What is it? What do you do for inspiration?
I kind of touched on this earlier, but for me, the number one priority in life for me, and the number one thing that drives me, keeps me passionate about everything, from creativity to uh, finances to personal experiences, is health. Health, physical and mental health. And I put that first in my life. I mean, I probably could have accomplished a lot more. I know I could have, musically, if I hadn't put so much time into being healthy. But it does require a huge commitment. And unfortunately, our children are not taught from day one, and especially in schools, how to take care of themselves, how to feed their body, give the body the right nutrients to be the best they possibly can be. So it's been a lifelong journey for me to continue to learn, to reach out, to discover, to experiment. And I mean, we both feel so great and for our old age. And so many of our friends, God bless their souls, are sick, have had multiple surgeries, have passed away. And I'm not saying that that'll never happen to us. I mean, you can't predict, you don't really know 100% if you're doing the right things, but I just know that we have put a lot of time into it, and it keeps us creative. It keeps us, if you don't feel good when you wake up and then you don't feel excited about anything, not just being creative, but just anything. And so that's our number one. That would be my answer. It's like, that's what keeps me motivated.
Yeah, that's a great answer. And I love that. And I share that and bond with you on that. So my question is, are you willing to share a little bit of your secrets of what you do? Like, do you eat soup and salad and take your vitamins? What do you do? Do you do Tai Chi versus walking? Can you share a few things, a few tips for everybody?
I mean, it's changed over the years, and they're always discovering new things. People that, there's all kinds of studies constantly being uh, finished after decades, and and reports being put out. But you have to go seek out these things. They don't, they don't talk about it on the news, which they should. But for us, Mark and I both have been vegetarians most of our lives, and a couple of years ago, we started learning about carbohydrates and how they basically, even if you're eating healthy carbohydrates, fruit and all that, it turns into sugar. And it's as you get older, things completely change. Your body processes things completely differently than when you were young. So now we're kind of like a keto, but I don't want to participate in any way, shape, or form in harming animals. So I still can't eat meat, but please excuse me. I don't know why I have this problem, but I do force myself to eat salmon just because I've done so much research on it, and the omega 3s that you get from that you can't get anywhere else. So I do force myself to eat that a couple times a week, and I don't like it, but I do because I have to survive and I have to not ever get sick. But we just eat really healthy. We take a lot of supplements, and we do a lot of research on supplements to make sure that we're taking the right ones. I mean, there's so many people selling supplements out there, and you're really getting pretty much nothing for your money. You really have to know what you're doing, and it requires educating yourself. So we take a lot of supplements, and we really, really work hard to get great sleep. And there's many things that you can do, but I couldn't tell you that in one short sitting. But and
I
then
think
we do exercise every day. I mean, I was a runner for decades, and then I fell and I tripped on the sidewalk and broke my right wrist, and I'm like, maybe I should try something different. And I started after running for so many years. One of my balls on my feet was feeling a nerve thing, so I've changed, and now I'm doing more, a stationary bike. We have a program that of like calisthenics that we just do for 10 minutes a day, and we walk a lot, we hike a lot. It's just a combination of eating the best of the best food, all superfoods. If you want to know what superfoods are, just Google it or chat GPT it. You can find out there's like 10, 15 superfoods, and we pretty much eat those every day. Fermented foods, high vitamin D foods, you know,
so. Do you
lots of,
love Greek? Do you love Greek yogurt like I do?
we do, excuse me, we eat coconut yogurt. We make our own coconut yogurt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Really?
we figured this one out. We make our own sauerkraut and our own coconut yogurt, and it's nothing you can match buying in the
No,
store. I
you
can
can't.
tell you, it's really good. Yeah.
Amazing.
Things
Amazing.
that, the things that we make, you cannot buy in a store. You cannot retrieve the nutrients from
Mhm.
a
Yeah.
from factory to to warehouse to store sitting on the shelf. They all lose their potency, and some of them never have potency from the beginning. But
So
yeah,
do you love gardening? Do you guys garden?
I wish I had the land to do it. It is something I would consider if I can survive another 10 years. I really, I would really like to do that actually, because
And you will. You will survive another 10 years, Mark.
I'll take that.
well, we
Right.
don't really have room in the
Yeah, we don't have a big enough piece of land here to do that.
it's another
Oh,
thing. Tennessee's so great because people actually have land around their homes. In Vegas, I mean, when I moved here, I was like shocked out of my mind. People have these walls around their homes, and houses are like 5 feet away from each other. You look out your window and you see a brick wall of another house. It's like weird.
yeah,
It's weird.
wow. Well, is there any land left in Tennessee to buy to get to make a garden?
Hey,
There is actually.
yeah.
You got to go further out of Nashville to find it though than you used to.
I mean, you can buy an older home that has lots of land, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, they're doing to Nashville what they've done to Vegas and everywhere else.
Mm.
Built homes stacked on top of each other and beside each other, and it's all about the money, right? How many homes can we build on the smallest amount of land and make the most money? It's so sad. But
Yes. Yes, it's so true. But we've got some wonderful things coming up for you and both of you, your performances. And so Thank you for sharing all of that with us, your opinions and all of your good advice. I really, really appreciate that.
Okay. Well, just to further on what Llynda was talking about, and you mentioned it, the fact that you still like to discover new restaurants or whatever it is that, this is what keeps me going. I mean, the creative process is something you never figure out. And so for me, it's a curiosity thing. And I'm always passionate about sitting down and trying to see, because it's the element of surprise. I'll sit down and I kind of define myself as a guitar player or as a musician as to what I can come up with. And so I'm always looking to surprise myself. And if you either have that or you don't, it's like that's what makes me sit down and play all the time. And so, uh, advice, yeah, have passion, and if you have passion as a young artist, follow that passion and believe in it, and believe in yourself, and be confident about what you're trying to do, and don't give up. Listen to advice, but stick to your guns, because as weird as you may think you are, it may just be something that everybody latches onto. There's no set recipe, but believe in yourself and believe in that passion. If you've got it, you got to follow it. See, I think very much the same with Llynda, and I really don't have a choice as to what it is I'm doing. I'm kind of, it's kind of laid out for me. I mean, I couldn't do anything else, you know? Did it,
Definitely, definitely. Say that again.
did any of that make sense?
Absolutely everything made sense, and I take that to heart because we feel that as artists. We have to be true to ourselves and keep going and not give up. It's that perseverance attitude, isn't it, Llynda, that you have that's served you well throughout the years, like Mark was talking about?
100%. Never give up your dreams, never. But I would also say, one thing I don't hear people talk about a lot is when we started in music, and like Mark said, we have a passion. It's in our blood. Music runs through our veins, and it's not really. I don't really have a choice. I have to do it in order to be healthy and live my, my purpose in life. I have to do music. But the thing that I think neither of us were prepared for, especially now, back in the old days, it was different. But you have to be prepared to put as much time into promoting yourself as you do your art. And that is difficult for us because we love writing, we love making the music, we love performing the music, and it's a full time job to do it well. But if you put all that time and energy and effort into doing it, it doesn't go anywhere unless you put equal time into promoting it. And it's not something that we honestly enjoy doing. It's very difficult because you know you send out you might send out 200 emails in hopes that one person might see it, and getting people to respond to you is difficult. They're so bombarded, people that are in a position to help you, to expose you or whatever. They're so bombarded with so many people wanting to get their foot in the door that it's not, you can't take it personally, but it's just time consuming. It's time consuming. And put yourself out online. I mean, like social media is a great example. Uh, I don't like, I used to promote, I used to post like every 2 or 3 days. I don't do it anymore because it's so consuming. I mean, to do it well and to be a genuine person, you want to respond to people. If they take the time, I feel so grateful to people that people are so kind to take time to look at what I wrote, care about what I wrote, comment on what I wrote or posted. It just really touches me that someone would do that because everybody's so busy with their own lives. So I don't want to just like ignore them, and I don't have time to respond to everybody, but I read every single comment. And I usually give people a hug because it's like, wow, so nice of you to even take time to say something. And it's just, I'd really rather be creating a new song, but it's just daunting how much you have to put into it. And social media is really how everybody is pretty much putting themselves out there, getting the word out about their music, trying to get people to listen to their stuff. And, you know, that's pretty much it. I would just say, be prepared, make sure that you know going in that it's more than just making the music, more than just getting out there performing live. It's
Absolutely. It's networking and it's so much more. I love what you said, Llynda. I'm not always promoting every day, but I'm promoting other people. I'm not always promoting myself every day, but I'm promoting others. Does that make sense?
yeah,
Yes.
what a beautiful thing for you to do.
So, well,
That's your that's your passion.
yeah,
And see, I can relate to that. I don't always have to be the person on front stage. I get a great thrill
yeah.
from making sure that a production runs smoothly, that things sound good. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
It's all making things great. If you can make it the best you can, doesn't all like if you're serving the coffee, serve a good cup of coffee. You know?
That's right. Thank you for that support, Mark. I so appreciate you both. And thank you for your time today. I've enjoyed talking with you and getting to know you. And you're just fabulous people. And I can't wait to come to Las Vegas and see you perform at your next events. Please keep me posted and stay tuned with what's going on in your lives. And I have one more question. This is my signature. I always ask everyone their heart message. So, what is your heart message for the world?
I think I've said it. Uh, be
Yeah,
healthy. Be healthy. Make it your number one priority. You only have one body. You only have one mind, and take care of it. You know, people don't take it seriously enough, and they wait too long, and then they find out they've got cancer, or they've got, you know, got to have joint replacements or whatever. Don't wait. Don't wait. Start now. Educate yourself. There's so much information out there because nothing else matters if you don't feel good. And the greatest gift that you could give to your friends, your family, is taking care of yourself. Forget about forget about you for a minute. Be a giving person. Be generous to your family and people that you love because they will not only be inspired and it might change their lives, but you know, they love you. They don't want to see you suffer. They don't want you to leave. So that's my message.
Hmm.
I love that, Mark.
Well, I wasn't expecting this question, but it's a great one. The first thing that pops into my mind is do unto others. You know, it's a cliche, but do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I think that would be my message. If we all did that, I think we'd straighten out a lot of problems.
I love that. And that goes along with being kind. And I love that too, being kind to everybody. Bring more kindness into the world if we can. And because that comes back, doesn't it? It's like karmic, right? It's all a karmic energy field that we live in, this incredible, wonderful, fantastic universe and world that we've been given. So thank you so much, both of you today. And it's such a pleasure talking to you. I'm so honored to have you here today. And please keep in touch. we we just think so much of you, respect you both so much. And anything else you want to mention before we sign off?
Just have a beautiful day. And thank you again, AJ. That was just so lovely of you to ask us. And we wish you continued success. You do a great job. You're a great interviewer. And
Yeah,
we
I
love
want to
you.
say something, but I'm kind of worried about it being on the record. But I'm not making this up. We've done this a number of times, and you are maybe at the top of the list. I mean, the way you prepared this and your thoughtful questions, and the way you handled this was top.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Really, really excellent. I'm not just saying I didn't have to say anything, so I'm telling you the truth.
I'm so happy. You both have made me really, really happy. I thank you for getting me and thank you for seeing me. And I see you both too. And I acknowledge you and I admire you so much. And I thank you so much. That means the world to me, both of you. Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
That's one for the books. What, Mark?
yeah.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure.
Okay. Well, until next time, au revoir. Thank you so much. Bye-bye for now.
Shalom.
We love you.
We love you too.